Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Get Right with DigiByte. My name is Mike, and it's another fantastic day on the DigiByte blockchain. In today's video, we continue our conversation with Lars, Rudy, as well as Rutger in part 2 of our interview with the DigiByte Foundation. If you missed part 1, check the description box below for a link. Also, make sure to subscribe and get notified for future content, including part 3 featuring Jared Tate and Yoshi Yeager, who are now technical advisors to the DigiByte Foundation. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're not right with DigiByte, then you're doing it wrong. Rudy, if we could step back, I know earlier before you mentioned how education is one of the pillars of the new foundation going forward. Are there any details that you can share with us about how we as a foundation can push that forward for people and provide the educational materials that are needed?
Yeah, I think education is a very important part. We can share knowledge about blockchain, crypto, and decentralization in general, of course, but we also can focus especially on DigiByte related stuff. So what sets DigiByte apart? What are our differentiators? We can share knowledge about the protocol development, DigiByte ecosystem, for example, how to set up and run a full node, or how to deploy a node on the threefold grid. We can provide information about wallets, about mining, about proof of work versus proof of stake, UTXO. So the audience we should reach out to is, I think, we should reach out to other crypto communities, crypto-related projects and businesses, new interested people in the space, students. So in short, everywhere where there potentially could be demand for knowledge, or where there is a lot of knowledge already but that needs to be shared, I think there we need to be engaged. And we should invite speakers, we should have more interviews, organize workshops, create some more content, even facilitate a platform, communicate more often, and ask more questions and publish information. I think that's it.
I would like to say something with regards to community and engagement, and also maybe in context to education. I feel the DigiByte blockchain's greatest weakness is self-inflicted wounds from two openly fought battles that are actually harmful to the blockchain. And I hope again that over time there is a possibility that the foundation positions itself as some kind of a trust center, and also something that I would call internal, like an internal not internal in the sense of this body now being that one and only body to go to, but what I mean is that the whole community that is already engaged in DigiByte, and also whoever comes in, that there's a common understanding of the fundamentals of DigiByte, because I think they are the most important point to look at. And what I'm hoping for is that we have rules of engagement in the sense that we could find a mechanism that whoever has any disagreement or any, how you want to call it, dissatisfaction or anything, suggestions for improvement, that those can be somewhat discussed in a foundational mechanism, and then fixed, and then in a positive way brought forward to the open public, because I think that's one benefit that many of the proof of stake systems have, right? Because they are all considering themselves as one, and I think that is the element that is to a very big degree also there in DigiByte, in the DigiByte blockchain. But I guess that's something where there can be a bit improvement with regards to the collaboration and the terms of engagement or dissolving of disputes, etc. There's better ways.
You mean how we deal with issues in the community?
Yeah.
That's true. There's something that we, but also other groups can play a role in, and because there will be new eyes on DigiByte, that's for sure. That's why it's important to keep repeating the message, because for us it might be a broken record and we hear it all the time, but there are new eyes all the time coming to DigiByte, and we want to grow the ecosystem, want to grow the community. So it's important to keep repeating that message and try to set a positive mindset to all of us in regards to
Yeah.
DigiByte.
Yeah, I think an harmonious platform is much better to meet at than open quarrels over nothing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We want to create an environment that appeals to everyone, and we want to be warm and inviting, and
It must be
hey,
room.
this is fun.
Yeah, there must be room for different opinions. People have to feel safe in the community. They have to be able to say what they want. We have to embrace differences and respect each other.
Yeah, and I think that's an important role that, like I said, not only the foundation, but also the other groups such as the DigiByte Awareness Team and the DigiByte Alliance can serve as, just a point of, I guess, mediation may not be the best word, because again, it's all decentralized, and there's no expectation for everyone to run to us to solve their problems, and who's to say that we're in a position to solve that problem. But like I
Leading
said,
by
if there's leading by example and trying to find a common ground with the different parties, and keep things without kind of blowing up and causing a whole big bunch of drama with Twitter fights or YouTube videos back and forth, because it's just doesn't really benefit anyone really, at least in the long term. And I think it could turn a lot of people off when things like that happen. They just decide, well, hey, that's that's just bad mojo there. I don't want to be any part of it, so I'm just going to move on to something else. So I think yeah, that's definitely there's an opportunity there for, like I said, ourselves and also other groups and also just other individuals who can step up and play that mediator role of just provide a calming voice and kind of just settle everyone down when there's any points of contention within the community. All right, at this point, I'm going to use this opportunity to bring in Rutger, who was a founding member of the foundation in 2019 and is still on board as treasurer. Rutger has been a community member for a number of years, and we talk about someone who has a calming presence. Rutger certainly fits that bill. So let's jump over to Rutger for just a few moments and have a word with him. Hello, everyone. We're joined now with Rutger Krijnen, who is the treasurer of the DigiByte Foundation. Rutger, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? When did you first get involved with cryptocurrency, and when did you discover DigiByte?
Yeah, Mike, thanks first of all to have the pleasure of being here and telling something about myself and my role within DigiByte. So yeah, I think for me it was like most people, discovering Bitcoin as the first one of the first cryptocurrencies, and trying to get involved with that. And I think that was in around 2016, and then well, I started to actually use Bitcoin and ran into the obvious problems with the speed and the block times, and quickly discovered Litecoin and DigiByte as alternatives in the same year. And well, it was so obvious for me if you just use DigiByte to see what the power of it is. I was not knowledgeable about the technical background at that time, why it was so special, but just by simply using it, I was already blown away. And then when I did more research about how the technicalities behind DigiByte actually work, and the decentralized nations and the different mining algorithms, and well, I got more interested in it day by day. And also for me, one of the things I really wanted to get involved with the community, first with Bitcoin, but it was almost impossible. It was closed. You cannot go anywhere. There was no openings. Everybody was shutting it down. And DigiByte was like a breath of fresh air. I mean, it's such an open community. It's easy to get involved, to take your own role, do your stuff, get it done, find new people. It's really a difference. And still today, I think DigiByte is one of the most open, decentralized communities out there, and you can still really make a difference if you put your heart to it, and make sure that well, you do the things you love for DigiByte.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You've been very active within the DigiByte community, during that time. What are some of the projects that you've worked on during that time, and what are the most memorable and why?
Well, I certainly did work on a lot of items within DigiByte, and well, some of the things that come to mind now are, let me think, of course, the upgrade of version 7 with Dandelion and Odecrypt. I was not involved in the development part, but surely a lot in the communications part, and to make sure that all the wallet providers, the payment processors, the exchanges, mining pools, everybody upgraded their node to the latest version of DigiByte. And so it was that was really a nice endeavor to do, and I'm looking forward to to be involved with that with the next upgrade also for sure. And of course the rollout of the DigiWallet, so the mobile wallet for DigiByte, and all the translations we have been doing. That was awesome to manage. I mean, I was in contact with so many people of all over the world, all kinds of cultures and languages, and really a great effort together. So that was nice. And yeah, and I also have been very active in getting the DigiByte ecosystem expanded. So I think about multiple listings in major exchanges I have been active in, getting more payment providers accepting DigiByte, mining pools, of course, also important. And I also really pushed for some of the major self-custodial wallets. So think about the hardware and software wallets where you can keep your own keys. So I've been dealing with that a lot. But I think, well, most of all, it for me it has been the interacting with the global DigiByte community and its diversity in there. So people from all walks of life, high-end investors, just simple people, people from Africa or United States, Europe, Asia, China. I met so many people all over the world, and to be able to interact with all those people, and really from a common view on the need for decentralized currency, as a next step for us in humanity. That really makes my heart tick. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, oh, that's great. And you brought up a great point there with how you reach out to the exchanges and the mining pools regarding the upgrades, because of course DigiByte is 100% open source and permissionless. But when upgrades are made, these organizations that use it need to be contacted and given a heads up, like, hey, these upgrades are happening, and you need to upgrade things on your end as well. And I'm sure that's no easy task. I mean, it's you look at all the exchanges that list DigiByte, all the wallets, and there needs to be a liaison between the DigiByte community and the developers that are implementing those changes and those who use it. And so I'm sure that's no easy task. So thank you for all the work you've put in. It's been really fantastic to watch. And of course, you also mentioned how you've been able to interact with people from all over the world. And, so it truly is a global movement of
Oh
just
yeah.
individuals who are, they see the benefit and the need for, protocols such as DigiByte, and they've really, latched onto it and become a part of that community by themselves. So it's great to see others, contribute and work together and collaborate to create, a better system for all of us. So it's a fantastic thing to really be a part of. And like I said, you've been a part of it for many years and in so many different areas as well. And I think that speaks again to the decentralization, where anyone can come in and wear many hats and do many things.
Yeah, yeah. So I really want to stress out that a lot of the things I mentioned really were group efforts. So with different people together, we try to get on one exchange, or we try to get on the mining pool, whatever. So you see, it's a constant new people with specific expertise coming in, focusing on a certain topic. So that's really the beautiful thing of a decentralized organization. I mean, yeah, that's awesome to be part of. Yeah.
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 I know you were one of the founding members of the DigiByte Foundation in 2019. What were some of the challenges that you faced during that time? And, what are some of the lessons that learned from that experience that can be applied going forward?
Absolutely. Well, I think, and that may apply still today, is that a lot of players in the crypto community or economy are not really only for building the next financial independent systems, but also just looking for a quick buck. So some of the parties ask money for integration for any blockchain, also for DigiByte, and they might not fully understand the true decentralized nature of DigiByte. That's something that still is something that sometimes hard to deal with. But I think we're getting the message across better and better, and more and more parties realize that that it's of the utmost important for humanity. I think that we have decentralized cryptocurrencies like DigiByte for our future. I mean, this is not to be underestimated how important this could be in the future. So that's one of the things that's tough sometimes. You don't have a lot of money to give to parties, but still you need to convince them that they have to accept DigiByte, and we're pretty successful in that. But then it takes time sometimes, and you have to be patient and persistent. That's what I also say. And the second thing is that DigiByte is fully voluntarily run. So that means that there's no paid employees or a CEO that drives things. So that means that it can have some drawbacks, especially in time to create next steps. I must say that in the end, the job always gets done, but maybe not as fast as we all would like normally in a normal business setting. But it also has a very important pro sides. I mean, DigiByte can never go bankrupt, can never go not disappear because there is no mother company that can go bust or a CEO that can drop out. So that's really the powerful side. And so these are the two things, of course, that we're trying to bridge a little bit in the DigiByte Foundation. And there is also, of course, other initiatives going on, like Alliance and the awareness team. And so there are multiple teams looking to do that. And I think that's great, because that only strengthens the continuity of DigiByte. Those things you really have to accept and work with. So I think,
Yeah, you brought up some great points there, because I know there was a time when exchanges would just list coins like DigiByte. Again, it's permissionless, and they can just take the code and list it. They don't have to ask permission or get anyone's approval. And it seems like over the past few years, there's been a shift in that business model where instead of just listing a coin, they want to ask for a listing fee. Sometimes those are that's a lot of money they're asking for. And of course, people like yourself who are in communication with these exchanges or groups, you're like, you got to remind them, like, well, we don't have money to pay for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I'm sure that creates a lot of back and forth between them, trying to convince them, like, well, here's the benefits of listing DigiByte, and here's again why we can't pay you what you're asking for. But I think, like I said, in the end, with enough persistence and convincing, then, eventually a lot of these places do come around, because they see the benefit of it, because they can always make money on the exchange fees themselves. So,
and next to that, I think there are truly also people in the crypto space that believe in decentralization and the importance of having true decentralized money and other use cases available for us. So I think it goes both ways. Most people do believe in decentralization and why it's important, but they also have businesses to run. So that can mean that we will have to wait sometimes. And I think one of the most important things in being successful in a decentralized community is not trying to burn the bridges. So if there's a party saying, okay, we're not going to do it unless you pay, I don't know, a huge amount of money, then you can say, okay, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Or you can say, okay, let's just put it on the backlog, and we will revisit it again in a later point. And then, well, I've been involved with several of the big names, and of course there are still some big ones left. So I hope we can tackle them in the next few years also.
Yeah, well, it's been great to watch the process, especially from the outside. Again, you mentioned sometimes it takes time, and then as time passes, boom, you get this announcement. You're like, oh wow, like I thought that wasn't ever going to happen, and all of a sudden it does, and it's it's a great thing to witness. Let me ask you, what are your hopes and expectations for the new DigiByte Foundation for the future?
Well, I think first, I hope that DigiByte Foundation can play a further role in the expansion of the adoption of DigiByte on all fields. So, when we're talking about payment processors, online shops, the last major exchanges, of course, new wallets, mining pools, it doesn't matter any place. Where DigiByte can be mined or accepted or bought or whatever, that we can play a role in that, continue to play a role in that of that expansion. And secondly, I think it would be great if we could play a role also in the expansion of the other use cases of DigiByte, like Digi Assets, for instance. So the whole NFT space, of course, very important. There's a lot of use cases for that in the future. And also use cases like DigiID. I think it's nice, although I'm personally not involved with DigiCorp, but it's nice to see that they're trying to develop on those kinds of use cases. And there are, of course, others. The DigiAsset X, that's a really great platform for the DigiAssets. I really like that. And I also hope that we could also to expand the other use cases like proof of authenticity of electronic content, for instance. That's very important. So I hope we can do that and continue doing that into the future.
Yeah, well, that's great. And I'm really looking forward to working with you as a member of the foundation now. One thing I do want to share with our audience, you and our time with the DigiByte awareness team had overlapped. And, I wasn't very active in the chats, but I did lurk a lot. And I noticed that you were always a very calming presence in that chat group, even when times were very heated, whether it was the Binance Wars or the Poloniex delisting, things like that. Things were getting pretty heated. And I noticed that you were always coming in and able to kind of de-escalate the situation in a way that was just really, you just had this really calming presence among the group. And I think that's just a fantastic skill to have. And of course, very, helpful with, a decentralized protocol like this. That, as the saying goes, decentralization isn't easy because, we all have our own thoughts and ideas and wants and needs and ideas of, how things should move forward. And, I really admired that about you. So I'm really excited to work with you as a member of the foundation. I know we're going to be able to accomplish a lot of great things. And I'm really excited about it. So, before we sign off here, do you have any closing thoughts or other topics, questions that we didn't cover already?
Well, thank you, Mike, for the compliment. And of course, I think the great thing about working in a team is that we all have our own special forces, to say it. And if we combine them properly, then because I could never do, the recording and interviewing stuff that you do so very well. So I think the combination of all our powers together is really what makes it great. And also, I think that, for me, the closing remark will be that for a decentralized organization to be successful, it's not necessary to prevent conflicts, but what is needed is the skill to successfully handle any conflicts that arise. So you can always have differences of opinion. We've had a lot of those in the past, and that's not a bad thing. The river should flow, so you should be able to manage that together. I think that is also a process of growing up together and keeping focus on the horizon and building DigiByte and making it greater and expanding it over the whole world. And let not our egos be on the front, but our joint vision on DigiByte into the future. So that's my signing off remark.
All right. Well, that's perfect. Well, again, I'm really looking forward to working with you, Rutger, and like I said, accomplishing great things as part of the foundation and getting more people involved with DigiByte. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, thank you so much, Rutger, for jumping in and providing us some additional information from your end regards to the foundation. For Lars and Rudy, just another couple questions here. How do we assist those who want to join and help with development of the protocol itself?
I think if we look at building and developing on and with DigiByte, it goes hand in hand with education, but with a clear focus on developers, students, hobbyists, anyone with an interest in coding and blockchain also. So not only the people that are very skilled already, but also people that want to learn about coding. It could be young and ambitious people that are eager to learn, but subscribe to our core values, of course. So I think we have to create a platform, a kind of academy where people can share information, can learn, and something that eventually could be initiated with the help of DigiCorp and the plans for the so-called Digi Academy. Also, the Alliance quite recently created the DigiByte Alliance Education Committee. So, yeah, after all, education is not self-evident in every country, right? Especially in the underdeveloped countries. So we need to create equal opportunities for all. So what we can do is we can provide guidance for HitUp. We can tell them how our development pipeline works, how they can contribute, how it works with the multiple eye principle, and so on. So yeah, we can focus on the requirements, skill sets, core values. So what do we expect and what can a developer expect? And yeah, we can clearly define specific development tasks and provide bounties for that. Let's see if we can attract more developers, young developers, and also can learn them how to code.
Yeah. Maybe in addition, Mike, you might remember our conversation that we had prior to this conversation today. I think, with the foundation and our plans there shaping up, it can even go down to situations on local event level, because I also noticed that there is quite a lot of activity in quite a few countries where people are really taking the time. They're setting up rooms, they are providing food and drinks for a group of 20, and they're basically doing an internal knowledge sharing with whatever group that is present. And I hope that with a bit better funding in the foundation, there is a possibility the foundation also can come in with regards to maybe reimbursing things such as the F&B components for such events, etc. These are, I think, possibilities that maybe take a little bit time of getting there. But ultimately, I feel that this local engagement might be something that's truly necessary to really create some kind of a network effect over time, and basically have people truly studying the fundamentals, because there's a lot of noise in this crypto world, right? Anyone who opens the coin market cap is overwhelmed with projects. Many projects are, overcoming this payment gateway of social media, because unless you pay to get a message out, you're not really getting a message out, and every message posted stays within a very small echo chamber. And I hope that over time we are able to also get message out by having to pay those bills in order to really overcome those gates of social media that basically prevent maybe a possible important news about or developments of DigiByte to travel the way it could travel. Ultimately we are not really fighting but competing with many proof of stake blockchains and many projects that have been raising lots of funds, and they're using it for actually bought opinions, right? And here we have to earn our opinions from the outside world towards the DigiByte blockchain. And therefore, I think it's important to be able to somewhat generate a bigger level of attention and also a longer time span, because I think anyone who really spends time and dedication a little bit in order to identify differentiation factors, like the unique selling points of the proof of work blockchains, particularly again Bitcoin, Litecoin, but again in particular DigiByte, I think that person will find out that this is actually a pretty solid project with really great and sound fundamentals, and something where it's a safe thing where you can't get rug pulled, or it's a lot more safe environment for someone who has a little bit of a long-term perspective with regards to blockchain and this particular technology. So I think there's a lot that possibly over time the foundation can do with regards to grassroots supports at the educational level. And oftentimes education is best if someone who knows something better than someone else is just sharing that. And if there's support for that, particularly when we speak about developing countries, any amount helps, right? So it must not always cost a lot of money, and it doesn't. And yet, for an individual, it sometimes could feel like it costs quite a lot of money. If you have to buy a water and a little bit of food for 20 people, it can amount to something. But if the DigiByte Foundation can come in and possibly reimburse such things, of course, there need to be certain procedure that there's some form of proof that the content that was discussed is basically through the subject of DigiByte ecosystem. But other than that, I think these are like one of the many possibilities and opportunities that can be explored.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know you just brought up a great point about all these individuals working at the local level to help promote DigiByte, because I think that's at the core of decentralization is people getting back to what's happening around them physically, just like down the street, across the street, involving their neighbors. We all, it, a lot of times our attention is pulled away towards this like centralized entity, whether it's for example, it's just politics. For example, here in the United States, everyone knows who the president is. Most people don't know who's on their local board of supervisors, or just these local positions, which have a much more direct impact and influence on their day-to-day lives than some politician that's thousands of miles away. So I think that's something that it's very important for people to understand and learn about and how decentralization works. And as you mentioned, the grassroots aspect of DigiByte, it creates an organic movement that is it can feed itself once it gets going. And as a foundation, we're here to help foster that growth in any way that we can. I know we've all been busy behind the scenes working on different deals and projects. Of course, we can't talk a lot about things as they're in progress, obviously, because we want to wait till things are more formalized and make the formal announcement. But Rudy, I understand you have something to announce today on this show that's very important. Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, apart from indeed some ambassadors and partnerships we're working on, there is something that I can mention is that to celebrate the revival of the DigiByte Foundation, LCX will be giving the DigiByte community a present, namely a new pair for DigiByte. And it will be a nice one. It will be a DGB USDC pair. So when it will be listed, that we need to wait for the announcement of LCX, but it will be soon. And I can tell you also there will be more coming from LCX for the DigiByte Foundation and for the DigiByte community soon.
Well, that's fantastic news. It's great to see DigiByte getting support from other exchanges. I know LCX is a very important exchange located in Liechtenstein, and to have a pair with the USDC stablecoin, I think is great. Because obviously any opportunity you can provide to users to buy and trade or sell, it just opens up more doors for the protocol. So yeah.
For people in the US, I know that they are looking for, they are very much looking for this pair. So, and I know LCX also on board US citizens, so maybe a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see LCX support DigiByte in that regard, and it's very imperative that other exchanges and entities that we can reach out to and contact and bring about these types of partnerships or sponsorships, any way that we can create. Lars, you said earlier the win-win-win situation where everyone benefits in some way, and I think that's kind of our mantra going forward as a foundation is what are ways that we can create an environment where everyone wins, because that's what we want for all of humanity moving forward. It's not just about us, it's not just about the foundation, it's not just about DigiByte, but it's for all of humanity to break free of the chains that are tying us down through the centralized structure and systems that are currently in place, whether it's central banks, food production. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's gotten to the point where you can't really exist in society without touching one of these centralized entities. And sure, there are some benefits to it, but we've seen with big tech, for example, there's been a lot of censorship over the last couple of years, and I think that's terrible for myself. Even if I disagree with someone, I think they should have the right to let their opinion and voice be heard, and let the validity of their argument win people over, not whether or not they're the loudest voice in the room or their voice gets elevated while others get suppressed. So I don't think that's a beneficial situation for anyone. Even if you agree with the loudest voice in the room, over time that voice can get pushed down, and now a new voice gets elevated, and that's something that you might disagree with. So I think there's a real opportunity here for humanity to bring forth a new era of hope and honesty and transparency. And I think obviously DigiByte can play a big role in that, and I'm sure the DigiByte Foundation can play a role within that. So really excited about things going forward and looking at the things that we can accomplish on that front. So before we wrap things up, I just want to asking if you guys have any closing thoughts, or if there's any questions or topics we haven't covered yet that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe-
Yes, sorry.
Rudy,
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Lars.
Yeah, no, I think maybe a quick one with regards to this win-win-win scenario. I think the best part is that the framework of DigiByte, all that's needed is actually adoption. And I think simple fact of adoption will help the whole DigiByte ecosystem to grow in significance as a technology, as a payment network, and also with regards to the ease of use that people will basically experience. I think adoption is everything that DigiByte needs from here in order to become a better, stronger network.
Yeah, well said, Lars. And of course, I'm very grateful with the help of you guys, Lars, with in regards to the partnership and collaborations from your business experience, and of course, Mike, content creation and communication, and your link to other projects and community. And of course, we have Jared and Yoshi as advisor. They could provide valuable information in regards to the development. And adoption is very important. I would like to close with a saying: individually, we are one drop, together, we are an ocean. So let's flood the world with DigiByte. Let's spread the word together. Let's inspire and impress, because we all know that DigiByte really matters. And we are all DigiByte, so we all matter. We have to do it all together.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, guys, it's been great having you both on the show. You've been very generous with your time, and I really do appreciate it and the conversation that we've had. And I look forward to working with you both very closely behind the scenes to, make DigiByte everything it can and should be. It definitely deserves to be known out in the world and to be used, and it can be very useful to all of us, not just those of us who are, deeply involved in cryptocurrency, but just your average person can benefit from this technology. So I want to thank you both for taking the time to join us today. Rudy Bouwman, Chair of the DigiByte Foundation, Lars Weber, the Vice Chair of the DigiByte Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us on Get Right with DigiByte. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure talking to you.